Fast, nimble and deadly, the F-15C is a rank 8 US fighter jet. It sits at a BR of 13.0 in air realistic. This Eagle is one of the most potent air superiority fighters in the game and has very few other enemies that can match it. Let's start with this guide. The Eagle has immense thrust produced by two Pratt & Whitney F100 engines, allowing the F-15C to hit an incredible top speed of 2,600 kilometers per hour. This jet is not only of the fastest but is also one of the most agile and maneuverable jets in the game. It boasts incredible energy retention for a twin-engine fighter. Although it does not have the first-turn capability of fighters like the Mirage 2000 or Su-27, it has good performance in longer and more protracted fights. Although the F-15C has great performance and can pretty much match any fighter in the game's current meta dogfights are rare and are often decided by who can get a Sidewinder or R-73 off first. Thus, it is important for a jet in the game to be able to strike its opponent before getting to the merge. And this is really where the Eagle excels the most. As with many American jets, the F-15C has access to a 20mm M61 Vulcan. This gun has a very high rate of fire. The Eagle also has a good ammo count of 940 rounds. When you find yourself using the gun, you can be more aggressive and heavy on the trigger as the ammo pool is large. The high fire rate and high ammo count increases the chances of hitting your enemy, which is crucial in air-to-air combat. For close-range air-to-air, the Eagle has AIM-9M missiles. It can mount up to 4 of them. These missiles have some clear pros and cons. Firstly, the missile has no smoke trail. This makes it hard to spot and track effectively. This can confuse or catch your target by surprise. The missile has IRCCM. This makes the missile more resistant to flares and allows it to track better. This missile can also be fired using the head-mounted sight, allowing you to fire without having to put your nose on target. One of the key disadvantages of this missile is its G overload. The 9M can only pull around 30 Gs. This is below par compared to other missiles like the Magic 2s or the R-73s, which are significantly more agile. For medium to long-range engagements, the F-15C has a choice of 2 missiles, the AIM-7M Sparrow and the AIM-120A. The Sparrow is a semi-active radar homing missile, also known as Fox-1. This means it requires a constant radar lock from the aircraft firing it. In the current meta, this is a big downside, considering many aircraft now have Fox-3 missiles that have their own radars, meaning that the firing aircraft does not need to have a constant lock. On the other hand, the AIM-120A will be one of your main and most lethal weapons. The AIM-120 is an active radar homing missile. The missile has its own radar, meaning you can designate a targeting either by locking with your radar or by highlighting a target on TWS. After the missile has been fired and it comes within 16 kilometers of the enemy, it will turn on its radar and home itself to the target. This presents some key advantages. Firstly is that you do not need to constantly keep lock with the target you are firing at. This allows you to go defensive and perform evasive maneuvers while the missile is going to the target. Secondly is that you can fire the missile while using TWS. You can fire the missile and the enemy you targeted will not get an RWR warning up until the missile gets within 16 kilometers. This adds an element of surprise. The F-15 can also carry a variety of unguided bombs ranging from 250-pound bombs up to 2,000-pound bombs. The Eagle also has the ability to carry napalm bombs that can devastate bases. But one of the most lethal air-to-ground weapons this fighter has is the GBU-8 TV guided bomb. This is a 2,000-pound bomb using TV guidance to precisely hit a target. This weapon is good in ground RB as it allows you to stay further away from the battlefield while still being able to hit targets. Note that they will only be effective in daytime conditions and not at nighttime. Finally, the Eagle has a good amount of countermeasures with 240. This should allow you to be more aggressive in your use of flares and chaff, improving your chances against enemy missiles. I suggest you take a 50-50 split. This should give you more than enough to counter infrared and radar missiles. One of the first things you should consider doing before starting a game is the loadout you want to choose. The F-15 can take a few combinations of air-to-air loadouts. You can go with a full set of 8 AIM-120s. Another option is 6 AIM-120s and 2 Sidewinders, and lastly is a split of 4 Sidewinders and 4 AIM-120s. You can choose which one you believe suits your playstyle and needs. In terms of playstyle, the Eagle has a few choices. Flying low to the ground and catching enemies off guard is viable and decent strategy. Keep in mind that it is a good decision to follow the direction of your team. If you go alone in a different direction, you might run into the whole enemy team alone. Another tactic you can try is to fly high. At high altitudes, your missiles work more effectively and have better range. You also have a better vantage point over the battle area. The downsides of this tactic is that you will easily be spotted due to your contrail, and that means that many enemies might try and get rid of you. Flying high requires you to use defensive maneuvers like notching and cranking. These maneuvers take some time to learn and understand, but are effective and very useful. When engaging enemies at over 20 kilometers, I suggest you use the TWS mode. This allows you to select an enemy without alerting them. You can also fire a missile in this mode, meaning your enemy will not get a launch warning up until the missile gets within 16 kilometers. When closing within 20 kilometers, I suggest you use the helmet-mounted sight that has a radar indicator attached to it. Using this mode helps you to quickly lock your enemy without too much hassle. In conclusion, the F-15C is an incredible air superiority fighter capable of keeping many enemies occupied. The Eagle has the ability to excel in many respects and situations and will likely remain as one of the best fighters in War Thunder. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing.